My name is Amanda Pierce, and today I turned 25, a milestone I thought my family would at least acknowledge with a text or a call. Instead, while working a late shift at the restaurant, I opened Instagram and saw my entire family throwing a massive party last night for my sister. The caption read, "Our shining stars, big moment." My heart sank. I scrolled through photos, mom beaming with a lavish cake, dad handing my sister a designer handbag, my aunt posing like it was the event of the year. This was my day, my moment. And they didn't even bother to mention it. Rage hit me hard. I typed a comment, "Needs to see where your priorities are." Mom fired back instantly, "Some kids deserve the spotlight." The thread blew up, my phone buzzing with notifications as I stood frozen behind the counter. 30 missed calls by midnight, each one fueling the fire. That post wasn't just a party. It was a slap in the face, exposing years of being pushed aside. I'm done being invisible. Before I dive deeper into my story, I'd love to know what time you're listening and from which city. What's your story? Drop a comment and tell me about a time your family let you down. I'm reading every single one. I couldn't stop staring at that Instagram post, each image cutting deeper into my chest. Dozens of photos flooded the screen, mom clutching a towering cake with glittering candles, dad beaming as he handed my sister a glossy designer purse, my aunt snapping selfies like she was at some gala. The caption, "Our star's shining moment," bragged about my sister's supposed college graduation, a milestone she'd never mentioned to me. My 20th birthday, the one day I hoped my family might care about, was completely erased by their celebration for her. I sat in the restaurant's break room in Fresno, my hands shaking, scrolling through comments from strangers. "You're killing it. So proud. Not a single word about me." The pain was raw, like a wound ripped open. Mom's reply to my comment, "Some kids earn the spotlight," wasn't just a brush off, it was a slap saying I didn't count. My sister's smug response, "Chill, sis. It's not your day," hit even harder. Her arrogance practically leaping off the screen. I fired back. "Funny, I thought my birthday might mean something." The thread blew up. My aunt jumped in. "Don't make this about you, Amanda." Strangers piled on, calling me bitter, spoiled, jealous. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing, notifications stacking up like a public shaming. By 1 a.m., I had 45 missed calls, mostly from mom, probably ready to scold me into submission. I called my friend Jamie Carter, my voice barely steady. "They're acting like I'm invisible," I said. Jamie didn't hold back. "They've always chosen her over you." She was right. Every memory of my sister soaking up praise, gifts, attention came rushing back. I'd been the one working late shifts, sending money to help with family bills while she got all the glory. That night, something broke inside me. I wasn't just hurt, I was done. I started digging into my sister's graduation story, scouring her old posts, her messages, anything that seemed off. If they thought I'd stay silent, they were in for a shock. The deeper I dug, the more things didn't add up. My sister Kristen Pierce had posted about her graduation months earlier, but it was all vague. No school name, no degree details, just posed photos. I spotted a comment from a classmate. "Wait, you were in my intro class last semester." That didn't scream graduate. I messaged the classmate, my pulse racing. Their reply hit like a bombshell. Kristen had dropped out over a year ago. The graduation was a total sham, a performance to keep the family's focus on her. I felt sick, not just from her lie, but from how mom and dad swallowed it without a second thought. They'd thrown her a party on my birthday for a fake achievement. I kept refreshing the post, watching the likes pile up, hundreds. Now each one a reminder of how easily I was dismissed. Mom sent a private message. "Amanda, stop embarrassing us online." Embarrassing them, I wasn't the one faking a degree. I shot back. "Maybe ask your star why she's lying." No reply. My sister posted again, a selfie with the purse captioned, "Living my best life." I wanted to scream. I called Jamie again and she pushed me to keep going. You deserve answers, she said. I pulled up bank records thinking of the thousands I'd sent for school expenses. It was dawning on me those dollars didn't go to tuition. They funded her lies. By 2 a.m., the restaurant was silent, but my mind was on fire. Every notification, every comment praising my sister felt like another jab. I wasn't just the overlooked younger sister, I was the one who'd been used my sacrifices propping up her charade. I saved screenshots of her posts, the classmates' message, and my bank transfers. This wasn't over. I'd spent my life in her shadow, but this time I was stepping into the light. My family had no clue what I was about to unleash. As I sat in the dim break room, the screenshot of Kristen's lies still burning on my phone, memories of being sidelined flooded back. My sister Kristen Pierce had always been the golden child, while I, the younger sister, was left scraping for scraps of attention. It wasn't just about my 20th birthday being ignored, it was a lifetime of being pushed aside, and those moments came rushing back, each one sharpening my resolve to expose her. When I was 12, Kristen got a brand new laptop for her school projects, while I was told to share the family's ancient desktop. Mom said, "Your sister needs it more." I stayed up late waiting for my turn, only to find Kristen using it for social media, not school. I complained once and Dad snapped, "Don't be selfish, Amanda." Selfish, I was the one doing chores to earn pocket money, while Kristen got everything handed to her. By 15, I was working part-time at a diner in Fresno to help with bills, but Kristen. She got a spring break trip to San Diego paid for by Mom and Dad. She deserves a break, they said, while I scrubbed tables. The worst was when I turned 16. I'd saved for months to buy a used bike, dreaming of a little freedom. Kristen, meanwhile, got a shiny new phone for her achievements. My aunt joined the celebration, gushing over Kristen's potential. I asked Mom why I didn't get anything. Her reply, "You'll get your turn when you earn it." My turn never came. That bike was all I had, and even then, Kristen borrowed it without asking, leaving it scratched and forgotten in the garage. By 18, I was juggling community college and late shifts at the restaurant studying accounting to build a future. Kristen was supposedly in college too, but I never saw her study. Instead, she'd show up with new clothes, new jewelry, always claiming it was gifts from friends. I started sending money home, hundreds at a time, for what Mom called Kristen's tuition. I trusted them, thinking I was helping my sister's education. But now, staring at that classmate's message confirming Kristen had dropped out, I realized those thousands I'd sent weren't for school. They'd fueled her lies, her flashy lifestyle, while I worked myself to the bone. One memory stung the most. 2 years ago, I'd won a small scholarship for my grades. I was so proud, thinking Mom and Dad would finally see me. I told them at dinner, expecting a smile, a hug, anything. Instead, Mom said, "That's nice, Amanda, but Kristen's got a big presentation tomorrow." My sister smirked, launching into a story about her group project. My Aunt Ellen Hughes was there, nodding along like Kristen was some prodigy. I sat there, my achievement ignored, my plate untouched. Later, Jamie Carter, my best friend, found me crying in my room. "They don't see you," she said. "But you're worth more than all of them." Jamie's words stuck, but the hurt never faded. Another time, I needed a ride to a job interview, a good one at an accounting firm. I asked Dad, but he was too busy driving Kristen to a networking event. I took the bus, showed up late, and didn't get the job. When I got home, Mom was bragging about Kristen's connections. I tried to explain, but she cut me off. "Stop whining, Amanda. Your sister's building her future." Building her future with what? My money and their blind faith. These weren't just isolated moments. They were a pattern. Kristen got the spotlight, the praise, the chances, while I was expected to sacrifice, to wait, to be grateful for nothing. Even my aunt, who I thought might understand, always took Kristen's side. "She's got big dreams," she'd say, as if I didn't. I'd spent years believing I wasn't enough, that I had to keep giving to prove my worth. But now, with Kristen's fake graduation exposed, I saw it clearly. They'd all been played, and I'd been the one paying the price. The anger wasn't just about my birthday anymore. It was about every time I was told to step back to let Kristen shine. Every dollar I sent, every shift I worked, every dream I put on hold, it was all for her, for a lie. I thought of the bank records I'd found, the thousands I'd sent for tuition that probably bought that designer purse in her Instagram post. My hands clenched around my phone. Kristen had built her perfect image on my sacrifices, and Mom and Dad had let her. I remembered one last incident from last Christmas. I'd saved up to buy Mom a necklace, hoping to make her smile. When I gave it to her, she barely looked at it, too busy praising Kristen's thoughtful gift, a cheap scarf she'd clearly grabbed last minute. My aunt said Kristen always knows what to pick. I swallowed my hurt like always. But now, I was done swallowing. Those memories weren't just pain, they were fuel. Kristen's lies, her smugness, the family's blindness, it all ends now. I pulled up my laptop, the same beat-up one I'd bought myself, and started organizing the evidence, screenshots, bank records, the classmates' message. I wasn't just the forgotten younger sister anymore. I was the one who'd been used, and I was ready to turn the tables. My family thought they could keep ignoring me, but they were about to learn how wrong they were. With my laptop open and screenshots ready, I knew it was time to confront my sister, Kristen Pierce. The classmates' message, the bank records, the fake graduation, it all pointed to one truth: she'd been lying and I'd been paying for it. My 20th birthday had been erased for her sham celebration, and years of being sidelined fueled my resolve. I wasn't the quiet younger sister anymore. I drove to our family home in Fresno, my heart pounding, ready to lay it all bare. I walked in to find Mom, Dad, and my aunt gathered in the living room, still buzzing about Kristen's graduation. My sister was there, scrolling on her phone, that designer purse propped beside her like a trophy. "We need to talk," I said, my voice steady but sharp. Mom raised an eyebrow. "Amanda, what's this about?" I didn't flinch. "It's about Kristen's lies." I held up my phone, showing the classmate's message. "She dropped out over a year ago." The room went silent. Kristen's face twisted. "What are you talking about, sis?" She snapped, her tone dripping with that familiar smugness. "You're just jealous. I didn't take the bait." "Jealous of what? Your fake degree?" I pulled up the bank records, my voice rising. "I sent thousands for your tuition." "Where did it go, Kristen, that purse?" Her eyes widened, but she didn't answer. Dad stepped in, his voice low. "Amanda, stop this. You're embarrassing yourself." "Embarrassing myself?" I turned to him. "I'm embarrassing you. She's the one lying, and you all threw her a party on my graduation." Mom jumped up, defensive. "Don't attack your sister. She's worked hard." I laughed bitterly. Worked hard at what? Posting selfies? I showed them the screenshots of Kristen's vague graduation posts, the classmates' confirmation, the money I'd sent. My Aunt Ellen Hughes shook her head. "Amanda, you're blowing this out of proportion." I stared at her. "Am I? Or are you also blind? You'll believe anything she says?" Kristen lunged forward, snatching at my phone. "You're pathetic, sis, digging into my life like this." I pulled back, glaring. "Pathetic? I worked nights to fund your lies." I called Jamie Carter, who'd been waiting outside. She walked in, calm but firm, holding printed copies of the bank transfers. "Amanda's not making this up," Jamie said, handing them to Dad. He scanned the papers, his face paling. Mom grabbed them, her voice shaking. "This doesn't prove anything." But I could see the doubt in her eyes. Kristen's smirk faltered. "You're twisting everything she said," but her voice cracked. I pressed harder. "Then explain. The classmate who says you were in her intro class last semester. Explain the money, Kristen." The room erupted. Mom shouted, "Enough, Amanda. You're ruining everything." Dad tried to calm her, but his eyes were on the bank records, his silence louder than words. My aunt kept defending Kristen, saying, "She's under pressure, Amanda." "You wouldn't understand." I snapped back. "Pressure? I've been under pressure my whole life, working to support this family, while you all worship her lies." Kristen stormed toward me, pointing. "You're just mad because you'll never be me, sis." That was it. I stepped closer, my voice cold. I don't want to be you. I want the truth. Jamie pulled me back, whispering, "You've got them rattled. Keep going." I nodded, turning to Mom. I sent $3,000 last year alone, thinking it was for her school. Look at her posts. New clothes trips, that purse. You tell me where my money went. Mom's face froze, but she didn't answer. Dad finally spoke, his voice heavy. "Is this true, Kristen?" She stammered. "It's not like that, Dad. I needed help. Help." I laughed. Help to lie to everyone. I noticed my coworker Michelle Grant at the door. She'd come to drop off my forgotten jacket from the restaurant. Her eyes widened, taking in the scene. "Amanda, you okay?" she asked. I nodded, grateful for her presence. "Just exposing some family secrets," I said. Michelle stayed quiet, but her look told me she understood. Kristen tried to pivot, turning on the charm. "Dad, Mom, you know me. I wouldn't lie." But the evidence was undeniable, and for the first time I saw cracks in their blind faith. Mom tried one last defense. "Amanda, you're tearing this family apart." I shook my head. "No, Mom. Your favoritism did that years ago." I laid out every piece of evidence on the table, the screenshots, the bank records, the classmate's message. "You can keep pretending she's perfect, but I'm done being invisible." Kristen's eyes flashed with panic. "You're going to regret this, sis," she hissed. I met her gaze. "No, you are." As I walked out, Jamie by my side, I felt lighter, like I'd finally shed the weight of years in Kristen's shadow. Michelle followed, whispering, "You're braver than I could ever be." But this wasn't the end. Kristen's lies were out, but I wasn't done. My family's refusal to see the truth only fueled my fire. I had evidence, I had allies, and I had a plan, forming one that would make them all face the consequences of choosing her over me. Back at my apartment in Fresno, I sat down with my laptop, the screenshots, bank records, and that classmate's message fueling my focus. This wasn't about yelling anymore. It was about strategy, and I was building a plan to expose Kristen's deception to everyone who mattered. I started with the evidence. The classmate's message was gold. She dropped out over a year ago. I had screenshots of Kristen's Instagram posts, all vague boasts about her graduation with no real details. Then there were the bank records, $3,000 I'd sent for tuition that clearly went to her designer purse, new clothes, and weekend trips. I organized everything into a folder, labeling each file with dates and notes. Jamie, sitting across from me, nodded approvingly. "You're not just exposing her," she said. "You're dismantling her whole image." That was the goal. Kristen's perfect persona was built on lies, and I was about to tear it down. My first move was Instagram. Kristen had thousands of followers, all buying her polished act. I drafted a post for my own account, careful but sharp. "Some people fake their way to the spotlight. Ask my sister about her graduation." I attached a screenshot of the classmate's message, blurred just enough to protect their name, but clear enough to raise questions. Jamie read it, grinning. "This'll get people talking." I wasn't stopping there. I messaged 3 of Kristen's closest friends from her posts, people who'd commented on her graduation photos. "Did you know she never graduated?" I wrote, attaching the same screenshot. One replied instantly, "Wait, what? I thought she was done with school." The seed was planted. Next, I targeted the community she leaned on for clout. Kristen was part of a local Fresno influencer group, always posting about their events. I found their public page and left a comment under their latest post, "Love the vibe, but maybe check if everyone's honest about their achievements." I didn't name her, but the hint was clear. Jamie suggested reaching out to the group's admin privately. "They hate fakes," she said. I sent a message with the evidence, keeping it factual. "Kristen Pierce claims she graduated, but she dropped out. I have proof." The admin replied, "We'll look into this. Thanks for the heads up." I could almost hear Kristen's world starting to crack. But the real blow was for my family. I wasn't just exposing Kristen to her followers. I wanted Mom, Dad, and my aunt to see the truth they'd ignored. I created a private group chat with them, dropping the bank records and screenshots. "This is where my money went," I wrote. "Not to tuition, but to her lies. You all celebrated her on graduation for this." I waited my phone silent for once. Then Mom texted back Amanda. "This isn't the place for this." I fired back. "Then where is you let her use me?" No reply. Dad called, but I let it go to voicemail. I wasn't ready for his excuses. Jamie pushed me to think bigger. "What about her job?" she asked. Kristen worked part-time at a boutique playing the college grad card to charm customers. I remembered Michelle Grant, my coworker, mentioning she knew the boutique's owner. I called Michelle, who'd seen the confrontation at my house. "Can you get me to the owner?" I asked. She hesitated, then said, "I'll set up a meeting, but you owe me coffee." I laughed, grateful for her support. The next day, I met the owner at a cafe, bringing my evidence. "Kristen's been lying about her credentials," I said, showing the classmate's message. The owner frowned, promising to review her file. I didn't need her fired, just exposed. I also dug into Kristen's online presence beyond Instagram. She'd linked her profile to a crowdfunding page from last year asking for school expenses. I'd contributed $500 thinking it was for tuition. Now I saw comments from others who'd donated believing her sob story. I contacted the platform reporting fraud with my bank records as proof. They responded quickly. "We're investigating and may freeze the funds." If Kristen thought she could keep playing the victim, she was wrong. Every step felt like reclaiming a piece of myself. I wasn't just the forgotten younger sister anymore, I was the one holding the truth. Jamie helped me polish my Instagram post, making sure it was sharp, but not vicious. "You want them to question her, not pity her?" she said. I scheduled it to go live the next morning, knowing Kristen would wake up to a storm. I also drafted an email to our extended family, people Mom and my aunt cared about impressing. "I've been quiet too long," I wrote, attaching the evidence. "Kristen's been lying and I'm done covering for her." By the end of the night, my plan was set. The Instagram post would spark questions, the messages to Kristen's friends would spread doubt, and the community group's investigation would hit her reputation. The family chat would force Mom, Dad, and my aunt to face their favoritism, and the boutique owner's review could cost Kristen her job. The crowdfunding report was the final touch. Her lies wouldn't just hurt her image, but her wallet too. I looked at Jamie, exhausted but alive. "This feels right," I said. She nodded. "They'll regret underestimating you." As I saved my drafts and closed my laptop, I felt a fire I hadn't known before. Kristen's lies had gone unchecked for years, but I was done being invisible. My family thought they could brush me off, but this plan would make them see me, really see me. And when it all unfolded, they'd realize they'd backed the wrong sister. The truth was my weapon, and I was ready to wield it. The morning I hit post on Instagram felt like flipping a switch. My words. "Some people fake their way to the spotlight. Ask my sister about her graduation." Truth. Hertz went live, paired with the blurred screenshot of the classmate's message proving Kristen Pierce had dropped out. I sat in my Fresno apartment, my heart racing as the likes and comments poured in. By noon, my phone was buzzing nonstop. Friends, strangers, even Kristen's followers were tagging her, demanding answers. My plan from the night before was unfolding, and I was ready to watch my sister's perfect world crumble. Kristen's friends, the ones I'd messaged, started posting their own questions. One wrote, "Is this true? You said you graduated." Another shared my post, adding, "I donated to your school fund." What's going on? The Fresno influencer group I'd tipped off kicked her out of their next event, their admin citing concerns about authenticity. The crowdfunding platform emailed me they'd frozen Kristen's account pending investigation, and donors were being notified. Her lies were unraveling faster than I'd imagined, and I wasn't done. I checked the family group chat where I'd sent the bank records and screenshots. Mom finally replied, "Amanda, this is too much. Can we talk?" I didn't respond. Dad left a voicemail, his voice strained. "We didn't know, Amanda. Let's fix this. Fix it. They'd chosen Kristen over me for years, ignoring my sacrifices while celebrating her deception. My aunt Ellen Hughes texted, "You're hurting everyone with this." I shot back, "You hurt me first." Their words didn't sway me. I forwarded the evidence to our extended family, letting them see the truth Mom and Dad had ignored. By evening, Kristen's Instagram was a battlefield. Her followers turned comments flooding with accusations: fraud. "You lied to everyone." She posted a frantic story claiming it was a misunderstanding, but no one bought it. The boutique owner, tipped off by Michelle Grant, called Kristen in for a meeting. Michelle texted me later she's on probation at work. They know she lied about her degree. Kristen's polished image was shattering, and I felt a surge of power. For once, I wasn't the invisible younger sister. Jamie Carter came over, her eyes wide as she scrolled through the chaos online. "You did it," she said, grinning. "They can't ignore you now." I nodded, but the weight of it hit me. This wasn't just about Kristen, it was about Mom, Dad, and my aunt facing their mistakes. I called Michelle, thanking her for connecting me with the boutique owner. "You stood up for yourself," she said. "Not many people would." Her words grounded me, reminding me why I'd started this. The next day, Kristen showed up at the restaurant where I worked, her face red with fury. "You've ruined everything, sis," she spat. I didn't flinch. "You ruined yourself," I said, my voice calm. "You took my money, lied to everyone, and expected me to stay quiet." She tried to argue, but customers were watching, and Michelle, working nearby, shot her a look that said, "Leave." Kristen stormed out, but not before hissing, "You'll regret this." I wouldn't. I'd spent years regretting my silence, but not anymore. Mom and Dad called again, begging me to stop the drama. I met them at a coffee shop, Jamie by my side for support. Mom's eyes were red, Dad's face tired. "We didn't mean to hurt you," Mom said. I cut her off. "You did. Every time you chose her over me, you did." Dad reached for my hand, but I pulled back. "We're sorry, Amanda," he said. "We thought she was—" I finished for him. "Perfect she wasn't, and I'm done pretending I'm less than her." My aunt didn't show, but her silence spoke volumes. She knew she'd been wrong. By the end of the week, Kristen's followers had dropped by half. Her boutique job was gone, the crowdfunding money was under review, and our extended family was whispering about her lies. Mom and Dad stopped defending her, but their apologies came too late. I blocked their numbers along with my aunt's. I wasn't interested in fixing things. They'd had years to see me, and they didn't. Jamie and Michelle became my family, now the ones who saw my worth when no one else did. This wasn't just about exposing Kristen. It was about reclaiming my voice, my value, my life. I'd spent years in her shadow, working late shifts, sending money, believing I had to earn love I was never given. But the truth set me free. To anyone watching, here's my lesson. Don't let anyone make you feel small. If they overlook you, if they choose someone else's lies over your truth, stand up. Speak out. The people who diminish you don't deserve your silence. I learned that the hard way, but I'm stronger for it. Thank you to everyone who supported me. Your comments, your stories, they mean everything. Share your own in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. No one gets to write your story but you.